Hey guys, Wages World here. It is August 9th going into the 10th. By the time I'm done making this video and uploading it, it will probably be the 10th. But coming at you with the video. So we're going to jump into it. It says Lou Ann Hamilton here. She says, "Hey Blue, hope you're doing okay, doing well and feeling better." And I am, thank you. My back is still all jacked up. I actually have a doctor's appointment on Tuesday to see my surgeon. For people that don't know, I've had multiple back and neck surgeries and stuff. It's something I fight. So I do appreciate the well wishes and the prayers and stuff that people send. So says we are currently hot in Arkansas, LOL. And I tell you what, you know, that anybody that's never been down south, especially during the summer, to experience, 90 to 100 degree weather with humidity. Okay, those people that live out west that have never been back east don't really know what that feels like, and vice versa. People that live on east and don't go out west don't really know what dry heat feels like. Best way I can explain it is, you go out west, it's almost like an oven, that dry heat, and so back here it's almost like being in an oven wrapped in a wet towel. That's kind of what it is, and it's miserable. It really is sometimes. Both are, no matter what we're talking about here. 100 degrees is hot no matter where you're at. So that's what I would say to that. And thanks for the comment, Luann. But here's Doug Edmonds, and he says, "How far from Earth is stereo A? Can the camera stereo A be turned towards Earth to take a picture of Earth?" Well, it actually leads right into what I wanted to talk about anyway. So we'll go over there and I'll show you. So guys, all you got to do is Google location of stereo A satellite, and this is what you'll get. And this is over at the official site. So I mean, this one here is the updated locations for the 11th and 12th of August. And what this is showing you is this is a top-down view of our inner solar system. Okay, obviously sun's in the middle, and the other things that they're showing, which they didn't used to show the locations of these satellites here, but they do now. But what we want to, all they used to show was A and B, but now they're showing the Parker probe and a couple other ones here. Okay, so anyway, this is stereo A. All right. So to answer your question about can they turn that satellite and look at Earth and take a picture, they probably can. Now, have they done that? They probably have. Do we get to see that? Probably not. I'm not sure if they've ever released anything like that from out that far. I don't know. It's a really good question, actually, and that's why I'm addressing it. It's interesting. I've actually had the same question myself, and a lot of people have. I just haven't got an answer on that. But as far as the distance, what I would say to that, and I'm sure you could probably Google it and get an exact mileage on it. But what we're looking at here, if you look, the Earth is 93 million miles away from the Sun. So if you draw that line, that's that distance. Well, if you draw a line from the Earth to stereo A, it's pretty close. Okay, now it's not exact. I think it's a little bit closer to us than 93 million miles. But this is also a good way for me to show you guys how these things work, okay? This satellite, and the Earth is here. When I say it stays in Earth orbit around the Sun, this satellite will travel this line. It just stays that consistent distance away from us, okay? But it's still the same distance away from the Sun. That's what I want to stress here. Because when I show you guys stuff and I say, hey, this is from the side, if you notice, I actually will offset Earth a little bit when I show you guys that, and this is why. Because if you go out to the Sun, you draw a 90 degree, stereo A is not right there. So it's not a direct side view. It is kind of at an angle. So, and I tried to explain that before, but this is a better way to explain it. So why is it at an angle? A lot of people have asked me that. Well, stereo B is over here, okay? We used to get a lot of data from that. I'm not going to go into why we don't anymore. But the fact of the matter is, they put these out. These two satellites are exactly the same. They put them out there so we could get a partial backside view from both sides of the Sun. Because right now, we're not seeing nothing back here unless the Parker SP, flips around back there and starts taking some readings or whatever. And I'm sure it has, and they've probably done other stuff that we just don't know about. But this is a really good way to explain to you guys when I'm showing you different things from different satellites. So know that when I say, hey, these satellites are really far apart from each other, but they're showing the same object, this is a good way to put it in perspective. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. And SDO and SOHO are essentially about right here, right in front of the Earth. See where I just drew that pink circle? So that's our view, right? So when I say that the distance from here to here, now we're looking from over here, but yet we're still seeing the same object, it's not a camera anomaly. That's why that's proof of that. These two things are so far apart from each other, you're not going to catch the same camera anomaly there. It's just not going to happen. So that's why that's pretty conclusive evidence when you're showing something and it shows up on both satellites. And that's why I point that out. It's just a little bit of proof to say, hey, that is what we're looking at. Something, at least something's there, and they're both seeing it. So, that leads me into what I'm going to talk about here now. I think a lot of people, let's do this first. We're going to go back to that, guys, but I want to get this in first too, okay, guys, because I almost forgot about this yesterday. This is the Schumann, and I wanted to show you guys this. And a lot of it is because there's really not much going on, except this. Now, I don't know if that's a tool flaw or what. That is a consistently straight line straight across, and it's too straight for it not to be something. If it isn't a camera flaw, or not camera, but a tool flaw, then whatever created that frequency is most definitely unnatural. It's done intelligently for a reason. Okay, it's too straight of a line. We all know nature doesn't usually operate in that fashion. So, I don't know what that is. I don't know what's causing that, but that's the first thing I noticed when I looked over here and was checking this out first. But I also want to comment that, guys, this thing is not very active right now. And, so what does that mean? Well, it just means we're kind of back into a position, I guess, of where, we're not seeing a whole lot. And this is what, this is closer to what it used to look like when there wasn't much going on. And it used to stay like this until, so when we did see a spike or whatever, it was, a lot bigger news back then because we didn't see them very often. Now we see them so much, we all become complacent sometimes. I get, people take shots at me all the time and stuff in the comment section when I continually show you guys this stuff every day. And, people think, well, it's, that's just a regular spike. Well, yeah, it's just a regular spike, but should we really be seeing that every day? So that's why I keep showing it to you guys. But, again, that, no way in my mind is natural. That's probably a tool flaw of something. I don't know. Verte might be able to give us a better idea of what that actually is. Maybe he'll do a video on that and tell us what's causing that. Also, our little coded line here is pretty prevalent too. Okay? I haven't seen it really show up like that in a while. So, guys, I don't know what's going on with this. I can just show you the observation and say, hey, now, as far as ringing in your ears and stuff, if you're experiencing that right now, it's probably not coming from this. It could be something else. And, guys, we can get ringing in our ears. It doesn't have to be this, okay? It could just be something that's kind of a fluke with our body sometimes. It's just what it is. But, if you consistently can relate that to this when you're experiencing that, then you can say, hey, yes, this is what's causing it. And it does set your mind at ease that nothing else is wrong. But, again, this would be a good test for those that got ringing in your ears. If it stopped during the times of, where we're not really seeing a whole lot here, then that's probably a good thing. If it continues while we're quiet like this, I might go see a doctor if I was you. That's just me. Okay, that's just my opinion. You do what you want on that end of it, but that's just my opinion. So, yeah, so we'll move on. Alright, guys, I got you over at Space Weather Prediction Center. This is, here's the one where I was showing you guys that solar flare the other day, the C-class. was like a C1, I think. It may have got to a C2, not sure. But regardless, I told you guys what that amounted to. You know, we had some radio issues. Again, if it would have been up here, we'd have been having a, well, hopefully we'd have been having a different conversation as long as our power was still on. I hope I explained it good enough yesterday to let you guys know that, you know, the solar flares, they get here and go so quick that we can't do nothing about it. We can't prepare. Well, we can prepare to the extent of, you know, what we can do beforehand. But if we knew that this thing was coming, we only got 8 minutes warning. If we seen it when it first happened, you're not going to do much in 8 minutes, guys. I'm sorry, but you'd have to be there anyway and see it happen. And by the time these satellites showed it to us, 8 minutes has probably already elapsed anyway. They're on a lag time, you know, for the time-lapse stuff that we see. So by the time we've seen it, guys, it's here, gone, and it's in the books, you know. Now, what we really get concerned with is usually there's a decent-sized CME with these, okay? That's what we can pay attention to, and I explained that yesterday. And if we did get that CME, then it would have been, you know, 2 or 3, 4 days later, it would have showed up here, geomagnetic activity, okay? Because that's different than X-ray, which is up here, okay? Geomagnetic activity is you know, what causes that stuff to rise and fall typically is the plasma, the charged particles from the sun, when it interacts with our magnetic field, okay, and the stuff that gets through and all that. X-rays are exactly what that says, guys. It's on the spectrum, okay, and you know, we can't see them with our eyes, but that they're still moving like light, okay. That's what happens. Okay, guys, this is Lasko C2, and we're going to try to figure out what this object is, okay, what we're seeing here. This is from our perspective. I show you guys this all the time. And what you're seeing is that right there, right about, you'll see it, right there, okay? So we're trying to figure out what that is. It was an unknown object. Nobody knew it was going to be there, okay? And it showed up on all the satellite feeds, okay? All the cameras and all the data. It showed up. But it was not a mapped object at all, so that's why this is of interest, and frankly, it's kind of concerning if something that big, they couldn't see it. So, how do we determine what that is? Well, this is the front view, right? So we're going to go look at it from the side and see if we can't, you know, see anything different, or see it at all. Which, on this one, this is from the side, stereo A, and we don't even see it here. Okay, so this really isn't helping us much. This one isn't. But here's the thing. A lot of people have forgotten because SETI has been down for over a year, and the imaging we get from that was very revealing a lot of times. Okay, but guess what? Those similar cameras are on this satellite. And let me show you what I'm talking about. I showed a little bit of it to you yesterday. So we're going to go see what we find on that one. So this is the site right here. Okay? This is where you would go to look at it. And what I'm getting ready to show you is on the exact same satellite. It's just a different camera, different tool. Okay? So what you do is you go here where it says resolution, and you toggle that button, and then you hit whatever resolution you want to look at. I go to the highest one because my equipment can handle it. Display. You put it on slideshow, unless you just want to look at like a single image. If you push list, it'll give you a list of imaging that you have to click on it to see it. Okay? And you see where it says telescope. You bring that drop down box up, and you can even look at extreme ultraviolet imaging, like what I show you guys on SDO. They have similar cameras on that satellite too. Okay, we may take a look at one of those in a few minutes. But then you got Core 1. I haven't shown you guys Core 1 a whole lot. We don't really see a whole lot on that one. It's number one, the definition on that stuff it really sucks. Core 2 is what I show you guys all the time. That's the one I just showed you guys over at Seeds. All right, it's highly pixelated too, but yeah, So I'm going to take you over to this other one, HI1. Okay? And there's 3 different views you can look at there too. We're going to look at the SR version. Alright, so we hit done. Then we go over here to where it says display 1 image per whatever. You hit that button and you hit 1. Right? That's usually what we look at it at. That's be 1 per 10 images. Alright, hour or day. Yeah, you can go into all that setting however you want to do it. However you want to look at this, you can. Alright? But keep in mind, this is why people forget about this one. Because it's got like a 2 or 3 day lag. You can't get this in real time. We won't be able to see nothing from today, yesterday, or the day before. I think what we can see is up to the end of the day on the 6th. Okay? So you have to enter the date. And on this one, you enter the year first, then month. Okay, so we're going to go 8. We're going to go to, well, this is started on the 4th. Oops. You hit 04. Okay? Then we go over here. And I just click whatever, and then I toggle back. And I know we can't see anything past the 6th, so I'm going to put the 7th. And what that does is it'll let you go as far as it's got. So we'll go 8, and then we'll go 07. Then you hit search. Okay? And this is what happens right here. Okay? And down here it'll tell you that how many images it's got. It's got 105 images, and it tells you what image it's displaying right there. Now you can reverse it, you can speed it up, you can slow it down, you can stop it, you can go through image by image if you want. Here's the timestamp on it right there. But remember on this one, and this is key because this gives you perspective, we're looking at the side, remember. This is stereo A. So the sun is here. And all that energy you're seeing is right there. Okay, so the sun's here on the left. Now, what I just showed you guys over on seeds with that thing, looked like it was just zipping right through, going at basically like that. See that? Well, what we're going to see is that from stereo A, it would look like this. Okay? And that's exactly what we see here. So what are we going to look for here? Well, we want to see if it changes direction, and we also want to see if it has a tail. Because what happens? We just got through talking about Neowise and Comet Atlas, right? We know that solar wind, when it interacts with a comet, that's what causes its tail. It blows it back, right? That interaction. So if we see something that doesn't have a tail, then we know it's pretty much not a comet. Especially when it's inside solar wind. Now, the direction is also very, very key. Now, I had some questions about this. You see that right there? That looks like some sort of a UFO, right? So I showed you guys this yesterday. Well, the reason why it's not, well, I've already researched that anyway, a year or so ago, because I thought the same thing. It looked really, really suspicious. But it's a known star cluster, number one. You can look at the star charts and probably figure that out. But the best way to do it is to look at the other background stars. Okay, you see the other little white blips everywhere? They're moving at the exact same speed as that little cluster is. Okay, so if that's the case, that means that's always, if they're all moving at the same speed right there, that pretty much eliminates any kind of a UFO action going on. Okay, at least with that part of it, because it wouldn't be moving at the exact same speed as the background stars consistently throughout days. Okay. So I can't remember what star cluster that is, but that is there. It's there. It comes around every time. Okay. So, and I'm sure you're going to ask what that looked like. A bunch of energy going from right to left there. That again was just a big bright flash of light from believe it or not, from the sun, and that's how the camera interpreted it. It was probably like that. It might have even been, no, it wouldn't have been that solar flare. But it could have been anything, just, could have been a small flare and just happened. It could have been cosmic rays even. Okay? But what we're going to look here for is change in direction and a tail. So I showed you a little bit of this yesterday. Okay? So yesterday it was moving pretty much like that. And we're only going to see to the end of the day on the 6th. Now you see it moving, right? And it was moving more like this. But watch it take a more vertical thing here at the end. Okay? And if I had to guess, it's going to start moving that way. It probably already has, because we're now about 2 or 3 days ahead of this, okay? The other thing we got to look for is the tail, right? So when it first comes on the screen here, you don't see no tail, but watch what happens when the solar wind gets near it. Okay, you guys seeing that? I think it's pretty clear, guys, that that's a tail. And it's also pretty clear that it is making a turn that direction. Now, whether the sun eats it up like a sun diver, or if it just orbits around the sun like a slingshot and goes back out into space, I don't know. We probably won't know. We have to look at some other satellite stuff, because once this object here gets down here, if it, what I will say, if it gets to about right here and all of a sudden takes a big right angle like that, most definitely the sun ate it up, okay? But if it makes it to kind of like right here, and it kind of does one of those slow little things, it may have made it around. So we'll have to just watch it and see what's going on. But at this point, it's my opinion that that's probably a comet. Okay? That they just didn't know was going to be there. You're welcome to have other opinions on that. You really are. I don't want to be wrong on this. So if you have other stuff that I could look at, other proof that you think it might be a UFO or whatever, let me know, because I want to see it. But I do think at this point it looks like a comet to me. Okay? Given the fact of the direction change and the tail being exposed right there once it really started interacting from the right angle with the solar wind. I mean, it's pretty prevalent there at the end, guys, that it formed a tail. You can even see the solar wind blow it back a little bit. And I'll show you when that happens. When it first came on, like right there, then boom, you see that tail right there? That's what that was. Okay? Now, it looked like it could have been two objects. Maybe that was that second object just getting disintegrated. I don't know. Wherever that second object is, you can't really see it here. But I don't know what to think about that part of it. But as far as if it's a UFO or a comet, I'm leaning more towards comet right now, guys. So that's just my opinion. Again, if you got evidence that it's not, please let me see it. I want to know. Not to be saying, hey, you were right and I was wrong, or I was right and you were wrong. I just want to get it right. That's all. So yeah, guys, I think that's what that is. Also, guys, we had a 5.1 earthquake in North Carolina today. I think it was the biggest one in that area in over 100 years. That's significant. Now, it was on the edge of the craton over there, the plate. And if you guys ever watch Dutch Sense, you'll hear him talk about how that energy transfers across that plate, and we seem to, have some earthquakes and stuff around the edge of that. And that's exactly where this was. So, and he was talking about, he was predicting a little an earthquake a little bit to the west of where that happened. So, but regardless, guys, it was a 5.1. That's very significant for pretty much anything on the East Coast. And yeah, so stuff is happening. That is most definitely signs of it. But yeah, when we're talking about this right here, I think that's a comet. And if anybody has any information or data or something I could look at to show me that that's a UFO, please let me see it. So anyway, God bless. Yahushua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.